What if the deadliest enemy isn't standing at your border, but sitting right next to you at dinner? What if betrayal doesn't come from foreign armies or distant nations, but from your own blood? Tonight, we dive into the chilling night, when Captain Ibrahim Traoré, president of Burkina Faso, looked into the eyes of a man he loved like a brother and realized the gun pointed at him wasn't foreign. It was family. The night was quiet, the kind of silence that makes every creak echo a little louder, every shadow look a little darker. Inside the presidential palace of Ouagadougou, guards stood tall, rifles at the ready. They thought the danger was outside, terrorists, mercenaries, foreign agents waiting in the streets. They were wrong. The real danger wasn't at the gates. It was already inside. President Ibrahim Traoré sat at his desk, reading one last classified brief before calling it a night. The report was thin, whispers about foreign interference, rumors of a plot in Abidjan, maybe even backed by France. Nothing concrete, nothing he could act on. He rubbed his tired eyes, stood, and stepped into the dim hallway toward his private quarters. And there he saw him. "Late night, cousin?" Ibrahim asked, surprised to see a familiar figure waiting in the corridor. It was Yacouba Traoré, his cousin, his fellow soldier, his most trusted protector. Broad-shouldered, calm, unreadable as always. "I'll walk you to your room," Yacouba said, flashing a faint grin. Ibrahim didn't think twice. He trusted him. This was the man who had slept in trenches beside him, marched through the bush with him, fought in ambushes where survival came down to seconds. They weren't just family by blood, they were brothers forged by war. The palace was unusually silent. No aides moving papers, no distant radios humming. Even the cameras along the hallways had gone dark, supposedly under maintenance. Ibrahim didn't know yet that was a lie. Inside Yacouba's jacket was a silenced pistol, hidden beneath a stitched panel. It had been handed to him 2 months earlier during a secret trip across the border. French agents posing as diplomats had slipped it into his hand. "One clean shot," they promised, "and your sister lives." Now every step Yacouba took beside his cousin was heavy. His heart pounded. His hand brushed against the weapon. All it would take was 1 second, one pull of the trigger, and it would all be over. As they reached the presidential bedroom door, Ibrahim paused. He noticed something. A flicker in Yacouba's eyes, a subtle shift in his stance. His hand dipped too quickly under his jacket. It was the kind of movement you only recognize if you fought beside a man long enough to know his every reflex. Instinct took over. Ibrahim struck first. In one fluid motion, his left hand clamped down on Yacouba's wrist just as the gun cleared the jacket. The pistol slipped, clattered against the marble floor, and skidded down the hallway. Yacouba lunged. Ibrahim kicked the gun further away, drew his own sidearm, and leveled it square at his cousin's chest. Silence. Only the hum of a ceiling fan above. Yacouba raised his hands slowly, face pale, eyes wide. "Ibrahim, listen to me. What are you doing?" Ibrahim's voice was cold, calm, the voice of a man who had been betrayed but wasn't broken. "I had no choice," Yacouba stammered. Sweat trickled down his temple. His chest heaved. "They have my sister." Ibrahim's grip tightened on his weapon. "Who?" Yacouba hesitated, eyes darting away. His lips trembled. He whispered, "They're watching everything. If I talk, they'll kill us both." But the truth was already spilling out. This wasn't just a single act of betrayal. It was part of something bigger. An operation designed far from Burkina Faso, crafted in villas across the border in Côte d'Ivoire. Inside those villas, French intelligence veterans had marked maps, circled names, distributed bribes. And at the center of their plans stood one man they feared most, Ibrahim Traoré. The cousin wasn't acting alone. There were others, 3 more traitors already inside the palace. One in the kitchen, one in communications, one behind the wheel of the president's motorcade. The enemy hadn't just come for him, they had infiltrated his home. "I trusted you," Ibrahim finally said, his voice heavy. "You ate at my table, slept under my roof. I called you my brother." Yakuba's lips trembled. "I know." His mind flashed back to the basement where French agents had shown him a video of his younger sister bound to a chair, gagged, terrified. A flat voice behind the camera had warned him, "Fail us, and she dies." He tried to justify it. He told Ibrahim he wanted to stall, to warn him at the last second. But his cousin wasn't buying excuses. This wasn't betrayal out of greed. It was betrayal born of blackmail. But betrayal nonetheless. Ibrahim lowered his gun slightly, clicked his wristwatch, and within seconds, 4 elite guards stormed down the hallway, rifles raised. "Take him to the black room," Ibrahim ordered. "Alive. No harm. I'll deal with him in the morning." Yakuba didn't resist. He looked at his cousin one last time before disappearing into the shadows. When the door finally shut, Ibrahim stood alone. His hands shook, not from fear, but from fury. This wasn't just an assassination attempt. It was a message. The French didn't want to kill him with bombs or bullets. They wanted to break him by turning his own family against him. He opened a drawer, pulled out a sealed red folder stamped Operation Serpent, and flipped through its contents. The plan wasn't abstract anymore. It was here, inside his walls. 1. Name leapt off the page. General Laurent Brissac, retired French intelligence. A ghost still pulling strings in West Africa. The man who had turned his cousin against him. That night, Ibrahim picked up a secure satellite phone and called Colonel Tapsoba, head of internal intelligence. "They've reached the inner circle," he said. "You want a sweep?" Tapsoba asked. "No, I want the system ripped open. Every name, every fingerprint, every foreign call made inside this palace. Logged, traced, interrogated, understood. No one leaves, no one sleeps. This is war." Meanwhile, across the border in Abidjan, Brissac received a message on his encrypted device. The attempt failed. He knows. Brissac didn't flinch. He lit a cigar, exhaled smoke into the humid night, and muttered, "So, he's still alive, but not for long." By morning, Ouagadougou was buzzing with tension. The palace was locked, down like a fortress. Signal jammers shut down communications. Guards doubled at every post. No one trusted anyone. Ibrahim convened his top advisors in a secure underground room. "We can't trust anyone," he began. "My own cousin tried to kill me last night." Gasp swept across the table. "This isn't just about me," he continued. "It's an assault on our sovereignty. They don't want to kill me. They want to stop Burkina Faso from standing on its own." The room went silent. The weight of those words was heavier than bullets. But here's where the story turns. Instead of panicking, Ibrahim flipped the script. He didn't execute his cousin. He didn't cast him aside. He turned betrayal into a weapon. Yakuba and Musa, the cousins turned traitors, were forced to continue their communication with French handlers. Only this time, every message was scripted by Burkina Faso's intelligence. False coordinates, fake weaknesses, invented infighting. France thought it was steering the game. But every move they made was a step deeper into a trap. And when they finally struck, sending mercenaries across the border, they walked right into an ambush. Within hours, Ibrahim had proof, documents, captured operatives, intercepted calls, irrefutable evidence of French interference in Burkina Faso. The world woke up to headlines: Burkina Faso president foils foreign plot. Family betrayal becomes national breakthrough. Traore exposes colonial shadows. Standing at the podium, Ibrahim didn't just celebrate survival. He sent a message to the world. Colonial shadows will no longer poison Africa's future. We will fight with unity, with intelligence, with courage, and we will win. And here's the part Americans should understand most. This wasn't just about Burkina Faso. It's about control. Imagine if George Washington's own cousin tried to assassinate him during the Revolutionary War, sent by the British to break the fight before it truly began. That's the level of betrayal we're talking about. This wasn't politics. It was personal. It was family. And it was a battle for the soul of a nation. Historians will one day look back at this moment as a turning point, not just for Burkina Faso, but for Africa as a whole. A continent long underestimated, always treated like a chessboard for outside powers, suddenly showing the world, we don't play by your rules anymore. Ibrahim Traoré didn't just survive betrayal, he weaponized it. He proved that Africa is done kneeling, done waiting, done being controlled. And now, I want to ask you, if your own cousin, your own blood, was turned against you by a foreign power, what would you do? Forgive, punish, or use them as bait in the greater fight? Drop your answer in the comments because this debate matters. And if you believe Africa deserves the same freedom America once fought for, hit that like button, subscribe to Traore versus America, and stay tuned because the next chapter of this war is just beginning.